Hi, this is Scott Johnson. I'm so glad that you chose to get my book, Crowdfund 2.0 Launch Formula. We're excited to be able to get this out to you, and we're going to get that in the mail to you ASAP. But in the meantime, I want you to pay attention to the links that are on this page. One of those links is going to allow you to download this book in PDF format. What this will do for you is allow you to get a sneak peek and get ahead. And if you're anxious and want to get into the material of this book before the book arrives in your mailbox. In the meantime, we're going to be able to present some things, some ideas to you, some things that you can begin to learn and assimilate right away so that you can begin to raise money for all the things that are important to you. Now, crowdfunding is such a new phenomenon. It's something that just crept upon the scene, and many times I ask people, do you know what crowdfunding is? Or they ask me, what do you do? And I said, I help people with crowdfunding. And they say, what is that? Or I'd like to learn more. So crowdfunding is so new, it's really simply put on the front of this book here, it says crowdfunding is the internet's #1 newest and most exciting phenomenon social trend for raising funds for any need, want, or desire. So whatever you need money for, and believe me, all of us need money, take a moment and just count on your fingers 10 people who you know that need money. You're going to discover a new kind of crowdfunding platform that is hugely successful. It's creating money and finance for a lot of people, and we want to introduce that to you as we go along. So stick with me. In the meantime, I want to take you right into a live event where a friend, Mark Hanlon, is going to be presenting what crowdfunding is. We're going to take a few minutes and cut to him and allow him to take you right into a live audience where he's going to introduce crowdfunding.
Good morning. How is everyone today? Great. All right, my name is Mark Hamlin, and just want to tell you I consider it an honor and a privilege to be here speaking with you today. Such a beautiful city that you have here, and it's so good to be back here. I'm a former Marine, as you might know, and I actually served in 29 Palms, which is right up the road from here. So back that time, they kicked us out, right? Because we were pretty rowdy, but I don't think that's going to happen on this occasion. So, but so glad to be here, such a beautiful city that you have. So this morning, we're going to talk about this phenomenon called crowdfunding. How many of you have heard of crowdfunding? Raise your hands. All right, now, today we're going to break it down for you. You're going to have a thorough understanding of what this concept is all about and how to leverage it yourself to get all the funding you need for personal, business, and charitable causes. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. How many of you would agree that it's time for new possibilities for the middle class in America today? It seems like everybody's trying to get a piece of the middle class, but there's no one out there to help us. Is that right? So we're going to talk about something I call a new blueprint, which is the next emerging solution to help the middle class, not only in America, but around the world. So let's go ahead and get started. So what are we talking about? We're talking about this phenomenon called crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is the internet's #1 newest, most exciting phenomenon and social trend for raising funds. It's the idea of passing a basket around at church with a large crowd of people being able to contribute or combine small amounts of money combined to meet financial goals of any organization, group, or individual. So there's been a lot of media coverage concerning crowdfunding. There's a very good article in Forbes magazine. It was August 2014, and they call crowdfunding the next big trend. Now, Wikipedia defines crowdfunding as the practice of funding a project or venture by raising monetary contributions from a large number of people, typically via the internet. In a nutshell, crowdfunding is 21st century fundraising. So if you're raising money for your church or your organization, your charitable causes, doing yard sales, selling cookies and candies, that's old school. So we're going to bring you up to today, the information age. Is that okay? Yep. Excellent. So crowdfunding is a worldwide phenomenon, ladies and gentlemen, that is now helping to make the dreams of people just like you and me come true every day, to the tune of over $6.1 billion given to people to help them in 2013. $16 billion last year, and the World Bank estimates over $96 billion within the next few years. So crowdfunding is a powerful new global economy, In 2013, Facebook and crowdfunding were neck and neck in terms of the revenue that they produced, with Facebook grossing about $5.97 billion, crowdfunding grossing about $5 billion. With crowdfunding reaching $15 billion in 2014, it has now outperformed Facebook by billions of dollars. Is that significant? Yes. Absolutely. Bigger than Facebook? Now that's powerful. Powerful enough to fund any project, big or small, that you may desire. So let's talk about a few examples of what crowdfunding is doing and has done, not only around the country, but around the world. Now, maybe you might know this gentleman. This is James Robinson. Let me share a few things with you about him. Well, James Robinson makes about $10 an hour, and he lives in Detroit. A few years ago, his car broke down, and he couldn't afford to get it fixed, and he couldn't afford to buy a new one. So he did the next best thing. He walked back and forth to work 10 miles each way for over 13 years. All right, his friends, they noticed it. They did a crowdfunding campaign. They wanted to raise $25,000 to purchase a car for him. The news media got a hold of it, they publicized it all over the world, and people just like you and I gave small donations that totaled how much money? Over $300,000. It took 13,000 people just 1 month putting together these small donations in order to generate this amount of money for him. So do you think he got the car? Yeah. Absolutely, and a whole lot more. Now I have a few questions for you. First one, did this really happen? Yes. Now if you have any doubt whatsoever, just go online and Google it. Now, a few other questions. Did this money come from the government? No. Was it a grant? No. Was it a loan? No. Does it have to be repaid? No. Is it legal? Yes. Ah, absolutely. Now, if you have any doubt about that, you might want to Google that as well. So let's take a look at another example. Now, this is Natalie, and Natalie loves to cook cakes and cupcakes and all these kind of things. And she would go down to the flea market, and that's where she would sell her products till she was able to raise enough money to open up her own bakery shop in a little town called Ferguson. How many of you heard of Ferguson? Yes. Well, unfortunately, her shop was one of the places that got looted, and they destroyed her business, ladies and gentlemen. Terrible thing. Well, her friends got together and did a crowdfunding campaign. They wanted to raise just $20,000 to help her. But people just like you and I gave small amounts of money, and how much money did they give her? Over $200,000. Well, needless to say, not only was she able to renovate her place, she made it 10 times better than it was before the riots. Isn't that a good thing? Absolutely. So I have a few questions for you. Did this money come from the government? No. Was it a grant? No. Was it a loan? No. Does it have to be repaid? No. Would you like some? Yes. All right. So let's take a look at another gentleman. This is Hector, and Hector lost his job. He became, his family became a one-income family, and they had to move from their 2-bedroom apartment to his mother's basement because they couldn't afford the $850 rent with just the one income. So Hector went to his church, and he made a donation to their shared crowdfunding platform. He did what they taught him, and in 90 days, he was able to raise a significant deposit and put it on a 4-bedroom house, and he was able to close on it. So I want to give you a little background. Hector's pastor, I met him on the internet, on Facebook. Share with him this concept we're about to share with you today, and they decided that they were going to create a project to raise money for a business. They were going to use the income from the business to fund the ministry. Because you know, in the ministry, when the people are hurting, the ministry is hurting. Is that right? And so not only do people have to be innovative, organizations, ministries, and groups have to be innovative as well. Would you agree with that? So that's what they did. Now here's the key. The way that they introduced it to the congregation was like this. They said, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we have a project. We're going to raise money for this business. Now you can donate to us in the offering basket, but this time we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do a crowdfunding project, and we're going to promote it to the world. Now, if you will donate to our crowdfunding project, this is what we're going to do for you. As a community, we're going to come together, and we're going to help you raise the money that you need for your family. Perhaps you need money to buy a new car, pay your mortgage off, or to start a business. How many of you would like to participate with us like that? Raise your hands. Yeah. How well do you think that went over? You think it went over well? Yes. You know why? Because particularly right now, the church is looking out for the people as well as for the church. Isn't that an amazing concept? Amen. Do you all like that? Absolutely. So let me ask you, ladies and gentlemen, does anyone here have a dream, a project, or a personal aspiration that's close to your heart? Anybody? All right. So let's take a look at some of the examples. And what is your dream exactly? Maybe you want to start or expand a business. Perhaps you want to build or renovate a ministry. Perhaps you want to create a project to make the world a better place. Or you want to fund home improvements. Maybe you want to pay off some college loans or pay off a wedding. Anybody know how much college loan debt we have in America today? Quite a bit, right? More money than all the credit card and the auto loans combined. It's over $1 trillion. That's a heck of a way to start your life, isn't it? So we got to get rid of those college loans. Maybe you want to purchase a new car, purchase a house. You want to improve your retirement situation, or you simply want to pay off some loans, pay off some bills, pay off your mortgage. How many of you like to pay off your mortgage? All right. Well, these are all reasons, ladies and gentlemen, for you to have your own crowdfunding project with people giving you money to help you. So you might say, well, Mark, why would someone want to give me money to help me pay my mortgage off? Well, before we're finished, you're going to thoroughly understand why. Now, when you look at crowdfunding, one of the things you're going to understand, there are many different types of crowdfunding platforms. There's over 600 different crowdfunding platforms or websites out there. There's crowdfunding for teenage moms, for veterans, for people with different medical challenges. There's even crowdfunding for investors. There's something called equity crowdfunding. You might want to take a look at that. All right? Now, most of these crowdfunding projects have 3 things in common. We're going to break it down for you. First is they charge you a fee or a percentage of the donations for using their platform. So in other words, when the money comes in, they're going to get a percentage of it. Next, they require you to do all your own marketing. That means that you have to contact hundreds of thousands of people through your own efforts to ask for contributions. So is crowdfunding a handout? Or is there work involved? Yes, it's work involved. It absolutely is not a handout, folks. There's work involved. And we're going to break it down and explain to you exactly what you need to do to be successful. And in many of these platforms, they have time limits. In other words, if you don't reach your funding goal within a certain time limit, in many cases, they'll return the money to the donators. So what it does, it causes people to lower their goal and they never reach their expected goal. So this is called direct funding. And we're going to break this down. You're going to have a very clear understanding of how this works. First of all, you must have a project, a reason for someone to donate to you. You have to write that project and you're going to choose one of these websites that's going to host it for you. Second, it's your responsibility to do your own promoting. So you have to be willing to communicate with people. You'll see that? Now, the projects that raise the most money, they already have a large database of supporters or people who know, like, and trust them. Anybody here on Facebook? Anybody have any friends on Facebook? All right, well, you might want to get a few more friends because those are the people that are more likely to support your project, okay? You also need some money to advertise because you want to get it out there. And it also helps to have a team of people promoting one particular project. And finally, if you have a media-worthy project like James Robinson and you're lucky, you just might get media attention, which is free advertising. That's a good thing, right? But unfortunately, most projects don't have these resources. Most people don't understand what it takes to succeed. So they go, they do a crowdfunding project, they don't get the money they need, and they think there's something wrong with crowdfunding. But we talked about it earlier. Billions of dollars were given out last year. So we're going to show you what does it take to get a share of that crowdfunding money, okay? Now, I read a report the other day, it said only 10% of crowdfunding projects actually get funded. And that's because, as we mentioned, people don't understand what's involved. So what makes us different? Because we're crowdfunding just like the others, only thing we're supercharged. First of all, with us, direct funding is totally free. And it's our gift to you just for showing up here today. And I'm going to explain to you how it works. With our platform, we don't charge you a fee to host your project. We also don't collect the donations. The donations go directly to you. You choose your own processor, PayPal or whoever, okay? Now, with the donations going directly to you, that's very important because with the other platforms, the money goes through the platform and you have to wait to get your money. A week, sometimes 60, sometimes 90 days. Sometimes you have to jump through some hoops. You have to go through some red tape, okay? So this is significant. The money doesn't come through us. It goes directly to you. You receive 100% of the donations. And although you have to do your own promoting, all the donations go directly to you, so you don't have to wait. Can anybody use some funding right now? Yep. Absolutely. Well, that's the difference between us and them. Now, but with direct funding, for the most part, you're still pretty much on your own. You have to go out and promote. You have to go out and do the work. Are you with me? So this morning, we're going to share with you a revolutionary new way to accelerate your funding efforts for any campaign you may have, and in the process, help many others do the same. Because it's one thing for me and you to get to where we need to be economically with our projects. It's another thing if we can show other people how to get to where they need to be. How many of you would agree with that? That's true greatness, don't you think?